All right. Good morning. I think we're ready to get going. So today is Friday, January 16th. Uh, so Fridays, like I have said in the past, aren't my favorite days to trade. And this week's price action has been pretty suspect. Let's just put it that way. We have this candlestick formation as of right now. Um, it's it's trying. Let me put it this way: it's trying to go up, but in my opinion, it's failing. It keeps failing because every time it tries to poke its head through, it just keeps getting rejected and rejected. And who's to say that today's not the day that I can't change? Of course it can. I like I said, only can give my analysis on based on what I see in the chart. I mean, yes, I can when I have it, when I can see it, I'm pretty much dialed in on point. But right now, I'm not 100% sure where this thing is going to go. And since I don't right now, I'm just going to be sitting on my hands and waiting for more information because the information that I have right now, it's not enough for me to create a narrative, create an idea, and then speculate on it. It's too 50-50 in my opinion. So I'll have to wait for more information. But anyways, so daily chart, we have this. Now, looking at this, I know immediately everybody's going to think, oh, this thing, is going up because this candle, is already, going up. But here's where I'm going to comment on that. So, and this is tough too, because, I mean, the last line of defense for the bears is this up candle right here. This is a bearish order block. And I mean, well, technically it's this candle right there. Sorry. Because this one has the highest body candle. Anyways, it's still, like I said, comes into it right here. Here's the thing. If it comes up here and trades into it and then trades away from it and closes down below it, and like I said, like I said, trades away from it. If it comes back up into it, I don't like to see that. And if it does, it literally needs to show me immediate feedback that this thing is still bearish. Now, is that the case right now? I don't know. Like I said, I have to wait a little bit longer to get more information about that. So what does that mean? Probably wait till 10 o'clock. Or, like I said, if we get like a good run before 9:50 as well, and it sets up, what I was expecting, then yeah, I might look at something sooner. But until I have a clear idea of where this thing is going to go, I'm just gonna, like I said, not do anything, which is always going to be the best decision. If you don't know what you're like I said, if you don't know. So here's what I have. So on the hourly, this low right here, and I haven't marked on another chart, but I'll show you because I'll show you on this chart because it's clear to see. So this low right here, this is the low that I'm watching right here. I'm watching, do we get below, and we're about to close this candle right here on the hourly, and that's going to create it like that. So that to me still does not seem like this thing wants to go down. Because look at the wicks and then come up, wicks and then come up. So that's what I'm saying. I need more information. I like the fact that it came up and hit this and immediately, retraced and came back down. But we need to show some sign of displacement towards this low and get below it before I confirm that I would probably we would probably see lower prices. Like I said, that hasn't happened yet, so I can't speak about that confidently right now. But that's what the idea I have in my head. If we don't take out this low and we trade higher, and let's say, I mean, we do the midpoint of this order block is right there. Like the lower quadrant, it would have to stay inside the lower quadrant. And if this thing goes up, I'm not going to chase it also, because look at what we've had overnight. And they do this on purpose because this thing might go up. It might be bullish. But I'm not willing to put my money on the line for that, because everything is telling me right now we are already too much in a premium, first of all, from last night to be able for me to be confident in taking a long right now. So I would literally just not do anything if this thing went up. But here's the lower quadrant of that 4-hour order block. And like I said, this to me is literally the last line of defense for bearishness, in my opinion. So, like I said, just know we're paying attention to this low, and on the 15 minutes right here. Like I said, I haven't marked out on another chart. I just haven't gone over those yet. So, anyways, we'll stay on the 15-minute because I want to watch on that. So let's go over to the start. We have no news today, by the way. So, I mean, and today's a Friday, so I'm not going to be expecting a ton of movement. We've already had, like I said, a good amount of movement, overnight as well, with no retracements whatsoever. What did that happen? Like, I mean, what does that look like? It looks like the same thing that happened last night. So another, so like I said here, this is grading this, which is an hourly wick. I've mentioned before that I like to use wicks and use them as inefficiencies. The same roles apply. So what I did was I took my Fibonacci from this low to this high, or the low of this wick to the start of this wick, excuse me. And then I got the quadrants, like you can see. So lower quadrant, midpoint, and upper quadrant. So it's hovering around the midpoint. If it can, and here's where I'm saying, if it can stay below this midpoint, get below this low, then I will, like I said, be more comfortable with saying that it's going to, it more than likely can gravitate towards here, or definitely down here first, because you'll see on another chart what's down here, but then down towards these lows, and ultimately inside this fair value gap. This is equilibrium of this leg from this high to this low. So that is equilibrium right there. As we can see, where did we stop yesterday? At the low, right at equilibrium. This is a part of optimal trade entry. I like this level right here because I like these lows. So that's the reason I have that marked out. So we can see that also as a potential draw if we get, movement to the downside. Will I think this is going to happen today? I don't know. Fridays, typically, aren't the largest, ranges day. So I don't know. How many handles is that? 564, 830. That's 300 handles. That's a lot of movement, folks. So, anyways, another chart. Let's go to 5-minute pre-market highs and lows. Here's pre-market highs and lows. So we have this high right here, and we have this low right here from pre-market. And so this is the range that we have for pre-market. It could come up and sweep this low. Sweep this high. If it does, I need to see immediate feedback. Like I said, I'm not going to take a long in this. And the only way that I would be comfortable taking a short is if it gets below this low. So what does that mean? It means like I'm giving myself, a checklist and rules that I need to adhere by today. And that's what I'm going to do. So, okay. So, let me see. Oh, I want to get the new day opening. I forgot to mark the new day opening gap over here. Where are we? Oh, I'm on the 5 minute. That's why. Shoot. Closing price at 4:59. Opening price at 6 p.m. That's what we are delineating as the new day opening gap. So what did I do? Took and drew a box from the low of 459 to the opening price. I mean the close. Excuse me, not low. Close at 459, right there on that candle, right there, and the opening on 6 p.m. That is what is called the new day opening gap. So since we have that below price, that's another reason why, you know, if it gets below this low, the draw I would say would be down here. But like I said, it needs to show me that it wants to get down here first. Here, remember we have opening range gaps. 112, 113, 114. Okay, cool. So opening range gaps, we have a lot of them stacked right here, but the one that we are going to have this morning is going to be from here, which is the settlement price at 414. So the settlement price at 414 to the first printed price at 9:30, because what we do is we'll switch to regular trading hours. So at 9:30, and I'll lighten these up so we can see the other one better, because we got a lot of them stacked. So when we open up at 9:30, we'll probably open up somewhere around here. So that means we have a premium opening range gap, and there's going to be an absence of price that you'll see, like this: absence of price, absence of price, absence of price. It's because it's the break overnight. Because technically, even though we do trade electronically, uh, you know, based on the old timing of the markets, when before electronic trading hours, it was from 9:30 to 4:15. So that still is utilized in price, and that's the reason why I marked that, because they utilize that gap whenever it opens up. As we can see yesterday, look what happens. So check something here. Okay. I'm still not. It could go up to go down. Let me put it that way also. So I'm not, like I said, I'm not bullish on this right now. Well, let me put it this way. I'm not going to chase it. I could definitely, uh, flip to bullish, eventually, but right now I'm not going to chase it. So if it does go up. Okay. So next one, midnight opening price. This is all that we've had as movement to the downside on the midnight opening price too, right here. So we've had a trade up, trade down below it, trade up again. See, to me, this is the Judas swing, in my opinion, or this is the manipulation. It can. That's the only reason why I would be comfortable seeing it come up here, because we have these midnight opening prices clustered right there. So if it comes up there, we could see it accumulate and then cause some movement to the down. But like I said, we gotta wait. We're gonna have to wait to see what we're gonna get. And also here, we're hovering inside the premium from yesterday, uh, from yesterday's regular trading session hours, because this was the range from yesterday, and we're hovering around equilibrium, and now we're in a premium. So to me, like I said, I would prefer it to get down below these lows and then maybe possibly draw back up into equilibrium somewhere around here, and then continue lower down into the new day opening gap below this low and ultimately below this low. That's what I would prefer to see, but like I said, it's going to have to give me more information for me to solidify that idea. This new day, new week, and first presented for value gaps. New day, new week opening gaps, and first presented for value gaps. Got a lot of them around, obviously. So those not as in, like, I don't pay attention to those as much, but I do like to have them on my charts just in case price is hovering around them, hasn't touched it yet, and might be setting up, or might be I might see a setup forming. That's where I utilize those. Uh, anyways, so we got about, what do we have? About 18 minutes. I'm gonna put it on this chart for right now. We have these two inefficiencies that I have marked out, one on the 1 hour, one on the 4 hour. So here's the one on the 1 hour. Here's the one on the 4 hour right here. It is stabbing through this, and like I said, it's creating this type of candle. We still have 48 minutes till this candle closes, so that's what I'm saying. Like, I need more information. I need more information. I want to see how this candle closes. I need to see how that candle closes. But I'm not buying this. I'm not buying this right now. All right. Let me run to the bathroom real quick. Like I said, if it would be a totally different story if we didn't have this much movement inside this inefficiency. If it was to come up and stop right at the midpoint, which I'll put that on there right now. If it was to come up and stop right at the midpoint, and look how it's using that now as support, that's the reason why I'm saying, like, I don't like that as far as looking for or wanting to see bearishness. But like I said, anything can happen in 46 minutes because we do open up in the middle of this candle forming, the 1 hour at least. That's what I'm saying. So, in that sense, that's what I'm saying. Let's just wait and see how the first candle closes inside the 9 o'clock hour, which is inside the opening range as well. So after I have that information, I can probably gauge better where this thing is going to go. But right now, like I said, I'm just waiting, which is the hardest part sometimes. Yeah, I have not been a fan of this week's price action. been a little difficult. I'd say on a scale of 1 to 10, the difficulty of this week was probably at a 6 or 7. 6, 7. No, no, for real. It's probably like 7, 7.5, because there's not been a lot of clean runs, not a lot of inefficiencies, a lot of back and forth, a lot of consolidations, then just take off and run without, you know, ha- you know, not letting anybody on board. Let me put it that way. So like I said, if it trades above this high, as far as I would allow it to go would be here. And I'm not saying it has to stop dead in its tracks, but not get or not show a willingness to get up to here. Let me put it that way. Because we're inside this range on the hourly right here from this low to this high. So, well, no, actually, this candle hasn't closed. So this is not a swing high. So we're in this range right here. From this low to this high, excuse me. That to me looks too clean. That looks like a trend line, following, some sort of, trend line support. That's what that looks like to me. So I'm, like I said, not going to be bullish and chase this thing. So I'm going to be, hunting setups that, if it affords me or if it shows me that a willingness to get down below or to these, that's where I'm going to be wanting to go and then ultimately gravitate, towards here and downwards to here. But that is yet to be seen until we get more information. So just chill. Do you have the new week opening gap from this week? Let me do the first fair value gap after 7 a.m. right here. Oops. Let's do that color. We're going to take the middle line off. We're going to extend it. Cool. So here's the first displacement post 7 o'clock. So this is the first fair value gap for pre-market. So about 11 minutes, 10 minutes now. Took the high from pre-market right there. Yeah, I'm just not comfortable taking a long here, guys. And everything is still not completely, you know, I'm not abandoning my original idea also, guys. So I'll be looking to, and I'll be looking for, some sort of, sorry, I'll look for it to draw up into here again, but I'm going to be anticipating this thing uh, to fail because, like I said, I don't see a reason why they need to pump this thing on a Friday. I said we still got a bunch of time for this candle to close too, so don't think that it's already too far gone, because like I said, we're gonna open up somewhere around here. We're gonna have a big premium opening range gap. Because look, we're right here right now. It's gonna be like down here. You know, still we can use the 70% of the time rule that it's gonna close half the gap, and half the gap is still below these lows. So I mean, if I'm not gonna chase it higher, and the only way that I'll take a trade if it shows me a willingness to go down. What's a good, like I said, target? That's these levels. As soon as this opens up, I'll do the opening range gap, and then I'll show you the midpoint of it, so we can see it visually. But that's the stuff that I think about. How far can it go, or where are my targets, or where am I going to take profits at if I'm in a trade? I'm determining all of that beforehand. So when I do get into the trade, there's nothing that I have to worry about other than the price action around, where my entry is. And, I want to just be focused on, is it supporting my idea, or is my idea failing? I don't want to have any other distractions like, oh, I'm in it, but like, I don't know, where it's going to go. Like, where I'm going to take partials, where's my stop loss, where's that? I don't want to be worried about that. I want to have all of that dialed in, so that it's just really easy for me to focus on one thing at a time. Yeah, to me though, that's still, oops. Yeah, I don't like that, because this all looks like, fake bull flag to me, because this looks like a flag, because it's got yeah, and it's like waving, you know what I'm saying, sort of. I said we're still in we're in a premium as well, so I'm not comfortable taking a long, because for me to be confident in taking a long, I need to be in a discount. Now, like I said, there could be a different time where, if this thing's up here and it comes down below a low or something like that, that can be considered a discount as well. But for right now, the entries for longs were below this line, and the entries for shorts are above this line. So that's what I'm saying. Like, after everything that happened here today, or overnight, also, I'm like, dude, there's so many people that are, that have their stops that are trailing them, and they're, more than likely are trailing them right here and right here. So where do I, if I was a market maker, where would I want to, knock those people out, right here? And where would I want to knock more people out so nobody makes money on the day? Right here. So that's what I'm saying. That's where my, mindset is. Just gotta, just gotta wait. Can't force it, can't rush it, can't, do anything except for read price and adjust and uh, analyze, I guess. And the thing is, if you're wrong, it's okay. I'm wrong. I said I'm usually wrong about 30% of the time of where the direction is. Now, success rate in trading is different, but knowing where it's going to go, 70% of the time, that's that's what I'm, like I said, saying is more important. The entry part of it's different. Like knowing where this thing wants to gravitate to, that's the first part. That's step one before you determine, where you're going to speculate in and, how you're going to enter and all that good stuff. So I got about 3 minutes. Let me go blow my nose real quick. Excuse me. Okay. So 2 minutes and change. So I was thinking about something. This to me, it just looks like a trap. That's what it looks like. And whenever I thought about that, immediately the first thing that came to my head was that meme from the Star Wars movie that it's like the general, the guy that looks like I don't even know what he is. He looks like a shellfish, like a crab, or I don't know, whatever. But it's just like it's the meme of him, the still frame of him whenever he says "it's a trap" in the movie, and that's what I thought of. Like this is what it looks. It looks like it looks like tricking people. Hey, look, I'm going up, so buy me. Nope. See right there. Look at that. And I'm just not. And like I said, if it screams up at 9:30, what am I also going to interpret that as? Manipulation. Because where do they want to, lull people in? They want to lull people in going along. So they what? So they put their stop losses here. So they put their stop losses here, and gives them an excuse to just send price lower. That's just how I interpret stuff, I guess. So drawing back up into that bearish order block. And I'm going to switch to this chart. Got about 1 minute now. So I mean, we swept everything. We swept this, and now we have broken this range. So I don't know how long I'll stay on. Maybe like 10:30, 10:45, depending on how good the price action is. Yesterday was bleh. And we're open. See that price right there? See it pop up right there? So we're going to mark that. from the start, the opening price, which is right there, to that closing price right there. We'll leave it that color so we can delineate which one it is. Middle line, black. And we won't mark the upper quadrants, but you'll just visually, you know, look at them like they are there. I need to get this off. How do I get that off? Come on, catch. There we go. Cool. All right. So come back down, barely inside it, trading higher now. I'm going to delete this for right now so we can see that a little better. Okay. Indecisive right now, right? A little bit. Literally just nothing. Okay. That's nice, at least for right now. Still got 11 minutes before this candle closes, though, so need to give it some more time. That's good. I like that. Dun, 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 dun. It's all about the timing of when the candlestick is forming too. So I mean, if you have a narrative at the beginning of a candlestick formation, like 15-minute, 5-minute, an hourly, like uh is it gonna you know I never like to predict where the closing or opening price is going to be. I just look at it in the sense of where would I, or how would I like to see this candle form if I was bearish or bullish, if I wanted to see higher or lower prices. That's how I look at it as far as candlestick formations go. And I mean, I interpret candlesticks probably different than other people do or somebody else, because what somebody might view as bullish or bearish in a sense for their candlestick, I might not. And that's one of the biggest probably differences between traders is that, they interpret price differently. They interpret these candlesticks differently. But we all have the same goal, and that's to basically predict where the next, draw on prices. How you get there, that's what you got to figure out. So we don't even have a first presented fair value gap on the 1 minute, which is why I haven't even dropped down to a lower time frame. And like I said, this candle is being indecisive for the time being. But we could still, like I said, see something, determine something by the end of the 15 minute. There's equal level highs on the 1 minute, so it's probably going to sweep those. There's more equal level highs also. Yep, keep those right there. So at 7 minutes 30 seconds, we'll have half of the time frame for this candle. So watch the price action, how it's the same, different, similarities, differences between the first half and the last half. Watch that. So we are above this. We have closed above this as well, but like I said, I'm keeping this on there because I want to see how they behave if they draw back into them. Because like I said, I'm still watching it bounce around inside this bearish order block. Like I said, we've taken the pre-market highs and the London high, and the highs made even before that. So we've taken all buy side liquidity. Here we have we even gotten down to the upper quadrant of the opening range gap? I'll mark that for y'all. I can't see where my cursor is. It's right there. Okay. No, we've stopped short of it. So there's the upper quadrant right there. We haven't even gotten to that level yet. Come up, like I said, could see it get up into those midnight opening prices, which it did. Go back here. Still indecisive. There's nothing pretty on the lower time frames anyways. about 4 minutes. So I get that candle closure. Hold on. Like that. That looks better. Still got 3 minutes though, guys, so just wait. Looks like we're going to get our first presented fair value gap on the 1 minute. So let me go over here. Drawing back down into the first presented fair value gap from pre-market. Right there. Oops. Got to include this volume imbalance. And we're going to take the middle line off. So there you go. There's your first presented fair value gap. I will actually put a border around it, so it makes it a little bit more obvious which one it is. So there you go. Drawn back up into that. It's nice. I like that. I like it staying inside there. Yep. That's what I would prefer to see. We still would like to see it get below these lows first. Yep, like that. Okay. Back up into the first percent per value gap. There. Hits the high of it. It's not there yet. It's not quite there yet, guys. That's why we're just chilling. We're just keep reading price, keep analyzing. Like I said, wanted to get below these lows. Because if it gets below these lows, that's where I can see it drawn, somewhere down here. And ultimately down here. Now, just because it gets below these lows doesn't mean it's going to afford me a setup. But that's what I want to see. And then that's when I can then look to speculate. But like automatically, get a setup, there's no guarantee. But for right now, the price action is behaving all right, at least. Like I said, I'm going to be, or I would be a lot more confident if it gets below these lows. That's why we just wait till, the first macro or 10 o'clock. And right now, the setup has not, or my bet, the narrative that I've come up with still hasn't been confirmed yet. So I'm not even a speculator. I'm just a spectator. If it gets below this low and this low, I like this candle right here as a bearish breaker. I'll mark that as if it does that and gets below there. About to come up on the first macro. So we've had a run. I mentioned that this looked like a Judas swing. I said if it draws back up into this bearish order block, I want to see it stay below this line. I said I didn't want to see it trade above it, right? So it did that. It stayed below it. It's now coming down again. It's now taking the stops of everybody that's longed it from when was this, 8:15, and now it's seeking this liquidity, and I wanted to see it take this liquidity as well. And like I said, if it gets below here, I can see it first. It looks like it's about to close half the gap, opening range gap as well. But I want to see it come down and close this range right here, and then maybe get down into here as well, because it hasn't closed the full gap from yesterday as well. As you can see, it stopped short of it right there. So in my opinion, if we get a full gap closure, I'd like to see it, continue, lower. And like I said, we have, no, sorry. What? Yeah, I want to do this. We have these lows on the 15-minute. They're also on the hourly. But those equal level lows right there with this inefficiency, that's what I like as a draw. Okay. Well, I like this. I like him. I'm liking what I've seen, or I'm liking what I see right now. Let me put it that way. But if we look at it on the 1 minute, that's not very clean, right? We have the first presented fair value gap. Yeah. Does it utilize it? Heck yeah, it does. Could you take that trade? Yes, you can. Was I confident, in taking that trade? No. Even though, what was happening, yes, that's exactly what I was wanting to see, but I needed, that confirmation. And now, it's looking like I have that. So I want to see this candle close first. And then I want to see if it can draw back up into it, into somewhere around here, and this inside this candle. Because that's, like I said, a bearish breaker. I'll mark that as soon as this candle closes. We got about 6 minutes. I'm gonna let that candle close. So just give me 1 second, guys. Okay, that's exactly what I wanted. Boom. So that is nice. So what I want to see now is if we can't get somewhere up maybe in here, maybe up here, and then let's see what we can get. But we got about 5 minutes before the opening range closes as well. So I'm going to mark this. I don't want a border. I don't want to extend right. 15-minute. This actually is the. Oh man, this thing is accelerating. Shoot, man, we might see. Sometimes it happens, folks. Sometimes it takes off, and it does. You're not on board. Now, like I said, if I was to get in up here, yes, I would be able to catch it. But was I confident in that? No, I wasn't. And like I said, it still hasn't done fully what I wanted it to see, obviously. So I haven't missed anything. So don't worry, guys. Don't worry. Coming down, new day opening gap right there. I want to see if we can get back up in here. Oh, I still got 1 minute. But this is going to be a big, beefy candle, guys. So I don't know. I don't know if we'll be able to capture something because right now it's too far into it's already dipped down into a discount. So, I mean, I need to wait for it to come back up into a premium for me to be confident in taking any type of or speculate on any type of short. So I'm still just chilling. Like I said, here's the thing. If you're worried about, the entry part of it, you know, if you see this, then don't be because whenever you get to the point where it's like everything that you want to see happen, it pans out. I mean, that should be a win in itself because how many people, have that skill set that they can determine where this thing is going to draw to next? Like how many people just know that? Like or how many people can determine that? Like what did I say? I said it was if it came up here, I wanted to see it stay below there. Did it stay below there? Yeah. Did I see displacement? Yes, we saw displacement. Did I say this looked like a trap? Yes, I said it looked like a trap. Did I say, if people chased it up here, where were they going to put their stops? Right here. What happened? Slam down. Still slamming down. Now, I really didn't let anybody get in on this because if you took this trade, you are a ballsy MF, mother MFer, like literally, because we didn't have any. And like I said, you can have that strong conviction. I understand that, but dang man, that's that's a risky. That's even a risky trade for me. And that looks like it's going to be too far. Well, it looks like it ran without me, folks. Like I said, it can still come back, like I said, into a premium. But I mean, we're so close to this new day opening gap. We have these two lows right here. So I mean, it's gonna have to really, really show me some type of price action where like I said, I'm not comfortable taking the trade until it gets, like even right up there. Like I said, right there. And it's already, it's looking like it's going to stay heavy. Let me put it that way. And that's okay. It's just like I said, that's sort of how this week has been with price action. If you go back at the beginning of the video, I know this is live, but when it's posted uh, later on, if you go back to the beginning, I kind of said, the price action this week had been weird, and it's like it would consolidate and then it would run without, letting anybody in, and that's sort of, the same thing that happened today. So sticking with the theme of the week, if that's the case, then I mean, why would it change, on Friday? You know what I'm saying? So, and that's okay. Some weeks aren't going to be, you know, your most profitable weeks. Some weeks you might not even make money altogether. The good news is that if you don't lose money, like if you don't hurt yourself, or like I said, if you don't make any stupid decisions, and you're you're smart with your risk management, and you stick to your plan, and you don't make money, that's still great. In my opinion, that is still awesome because one, you practice discipline. Two, you've already pretty much done better than 95% of people that are in here. And three, it's probably a lot more enjoyable for you and a lot less stressful because it's not like, you're uh, telling yourself, I need to be in here. I need to take a trade. I need to find a setup. I need to make money from this today, because you don't. Uh, Especially when you are at a experience level and you're a confident trader, that that your model that you have developed for yourself, it appears, often. And so if you're not in a move, like I wasn't in this move, was it a nice move? Let's see, from the high 890 to now, to where it is now 710, that's over 100 handles. So, or is it? Yeah, yeah, it's way over 100 handles, almost 200 handles. But that's what I'm saying. Like, it's a good move, and I wasn't a part of it. Now, obviously, I probably wouldn't have gotten in on the high anyways. I would have gotten in probably if I would have taken that trade at the first presented fair value gap. I probably would have got in right there. But it's still over, definitely over 100 handles. 851, 747, or 712, sorry. Yeah. So that's still a good move. And like I said, wasn't a part of it. So am I kicking myself? Not necessarily. Have I given up on it yet? No, I haven't given up on it yet. We stopped short of the closure of this gap. I like that because, am I, like I said, analysis. If you have a bias and it's bearish, and you have a premium gap, and it doesn't close it fully, and it's starting to retrace, this looks like unfinished business. Especially when we have this as well, that's unfinished business. So let's see if we can maybe get up into maybe halfway again. Or like I said, it can stay heavy. It can definitely stay heavy. It's just, if it stays heavy, it's not going to give me an opportunity. Okay, so I still would need it to come back. What do I want to do? I want to do it from right there. I still need to come up here. So let me delete that. I needed to come right there. At least up to equilibrium. If it if it gets below this low, then we can probably see it explore somewhere down here, because it's a 4-hour candle. Yeah, I'd like to see it come up, maybe touch this candle's low right there, which is this part of this order block right there. 15 minutes. You have this breaker right here. You also have this breaker. So this is large displacement though, so if it's going to remain heavy, I would want to see this create a fair value gap. I'll mark it out. The price stay in the lower half. If it stays in the lower half and it starts taking buy side liquidity, and then we have displacement to the downside with a market structure shift, then I would consider, the continuation down to this low and this low. But like I said, it's gonna have to show some strong or some weakness for that to happen. So it's coming back up here, drawn back up into this fair value gap, and this right there. So like that. Just gonna, like I said, we're just gonna wait. What I would like to happen is, happening, I guess. I am having to pee so much. It's not like coffee, I guess. Nothing yet, and obviously I'm not bullish, so I'm not going to be looking to take a long. So it's about to end the first macro. Like I said, I'll probably stay on here until 10:30 again, just to see what we get. Yeah. It's beautiful. So here's a premium. Where's the first presented fair value gap? In the premium side. There's your trade. If you want to take that. I wasn't comfortable taking that. But what happened was exactly what I wanted to see happen. So that's the more reassuring thing. Like I said, this thing can still get up into here. Definitely can. It can get up into here and then continue lower, or it can just stay heavy inside the 15-minute fair value gap and go lower. That's fine. I'm still, like I said, going to be bearish, so I'm not going to be wanting to see it come up too far. Like I said, about as far as I'm willing to see it go is this candle and these two candles and this order block right here. It's as high as I'm willing to see it go. I would really prefer it if it does come up here to stay inside or stay below the midpoint more than anything else. Like I said, it's reaching for these lows. I can see that. And closure of this opening range gap and closure of this opening range gap. Oops, sorry. Staying heavy for the time being. Still would like to see it draw up into this fair value gap. Like I said, it's not in a premium until it gets up here. So that's the reason why I'm not looking to enter. You got that right there. There's your equilibrium. Diving back down inside the new day opening gap. Might want to close the opening range gap from today. Go back on the 15-minute mark. this inefficiency. So this is not a volume imbalance. So fair value gap is from here. This candle's high. This candle's low. Come on. Like I said, oops, wrong. I'm gonna do the midpoint. I'm also doing the lower quadrant because I would like to see this thing stay heavy. So what am I saying? I don't want to see it. I would prefer, let me put it that way, it can, but I would prefer to see it. If it does draw up into here, stay in the lower half. There's a lower quadrant. There you go. Okay. In no man's land right now, though, because we weren't able to get it up here. It's all the way down here now, so we have to wait for it to come back up here. And I know it's it's hard. It is very hard because you're like, but I I I know it's gonna go down there, and if I don't want to miss it. I get it. I get it. I thought the same way. I used to think the same way, but today doesn't define your trading abilities as a whole. Like one day, let me put it that way. One day is not going to make or break you as a trader, even though it might feel like it. And you might, I think we just got full gap closure as well. Yep. There's your closure of the, oh, no, not yet. A little more. Anyways, I was starting to say, or I'll finish. I know it's, it feels like, if you don't take advantage of every opportunity that you see or that you know about, that, you're going to like be a failure, or, you don't know when the next one is going to, and that's a little bit maybe caused by the model that you have for yourself. Because for me, with my strategy and my model, I understand that, just because I don't get a trade today or this session doesn't mean my setup isn't gonna, I'm not gonna see there's your full gap closure right there. I'm not gonna find my setup again very soon. I don't think like that. I think the opposite. I think, well, that's just a move I wasn't a part of. I'll catch the next one. It's like bus stops. Like you missed the bus stop. Okay, just catch the next one. What's gonna? I mean, what's what's the worst thing that's happened? No, you got to wait a little longer. Okay. Well, so what? Are you gonna still arrive at your destination? Yeah. That was a good. That was a good analogy. I thought of that right off the dome piece, guys. It's just like bus stops. Just gotta wait a little longer if you miss it. It's okay. Because my full idea, still hasn't come to fruition just yet. It's looking like it might already, because it's looking like it's going to go back down into equilibrium of that 4 hour price leg. Yep. Yep. There we go. Take it. Take it. Take it. Where are they? They're marked on some chart. Maybe not. Yep, there they go. Well, that pretty much completes it for me, guys. I did say I would stay on here till 10:30, but there's really no point because everything that I had, you know, determined, that's what happened, guys. And not saying it, like I said, anything to make, anybody feel bad, but like that's what you got to get to. You got to get to that point. You got to get to the point where you basically every single day know or have a pretty good idea of where price is going to go. And like I said, I wasn't 100% sure until it showed me that. And once it showed me that, was I able to capitalize on it? No, I was not able to capitalize on it. But knowing this and knowing where it's going to draw, I mean, is such a confidence boost. It's such a confidence boost because I'm probably going to be done for the week. I'm not going to trade anymore. I didn't do very well this week performance wise, but that's okay. Forgive yourself for not living up to the expectations that you have for yourself immediately. It's okay. It's okay if you don't make money. It's okay if, you know, you're still on demo. It's okay if it takes a little bit longer for you. It's okay if you have to start over a little bit again or relearn some stuff or unlearn some stuff. It's okay. It's a part of it. If stuff is so hard and difficult that what you might think is the right thing to do because you're trying to do this by yourself, you might not realize the damage that you're actually doing to yourself, and you just beat yourself up over and over and over again. And that mental capital that you expense is so toxic when it comes to your decision making in these markets, because then you're more focused on the emotional outcome of things. If you don't do it or this doesn't work out, rather than looking at this from a perspective of this is an opportunity for me to you know um, sharpen my skill set within all this, rather than thinking I need to make money with all of this. That's not the right way to think. So I know that was a little bit of a psychology thing or whatever, but that's important also. Just because you get the technical side of things doesn't mean you got it all figured out. uh, I mean, I'm a perfect example. I got the technical side of this all done in probably like 3 or 4 months, but it took me a year and a half to develop that discipline, risk management, mindset, psychology for me to actually put all the puzzle pieces together. So that's all you got to do. And once you put them all together, it's over. Everything, like I said, the only thing you got to worry about is time. After that, that's the only thing you got to worry about. So I'm going to end the stream here because literally everything that we wanted to see happen happened. Right there, I'll mark that low right there. So saw it get down there. This is a shallow run, so we could see it draw back up into this fair value gap. I'll if I decide to speculate on something, I'll post something later. But right now, I'm just going to be chilling and monitoring price, because this thing could just draw up here and then consolidate for the rest of the day, or come down here, fail, maybe get down to equilibrium here and not get up there. Could I still be profitable in that? Yeah, but I'm going to have to determine, if there is a setup, if it's even worth taking or not. So I'll do that on my own time, though. I mean, I've already been on here for an hour and 23 minutes, or an hour and a half, actually. Sorry. So like I said, I'll let y'all know if I take a trade or not. You'll see it on my page. But anyways, everything that we wanted to see happened. Run through it real quick. The run up below upper quadrant of the bearish fair value gap. Like I said, wanted to see it stay below it. Coming down, wanted to see it sweep below these lows, swept below those lows. Wanted to see it gravitate towards this volume imbalance, which is the new day opening gap, and ultimately down below these lows, which it is. And now look what it's doing. It's retracing up into this fair value gap again. So that's the business. That completes pretty much the week for me as well. This week has been, like I said, wonky, and the price action has been not the best. So we just move on, and next week is another opportunity. Let's see what we got on Monday. Monday's Martin Luther King Day. Sorry, guys. So we'll be off. We'll be off Monday, and then we'll be back on Tuesday. I don't even know what that is. Doesn't look like it's that important, though. So anyways, off Monday. Enjoy your holiday, and then we'll be back to it on Tuesday. All right, guys. Until then, be safe.